this number.
We're live. And we are live. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to Moms for Trans Kids podcast. We are here live for the first time ever in my little abode. And we are actually blessed today to have not one, but two trans women, two dolls in the space. One of them is...
Hi, I'm Bishop Paris LaBelle.
And the other is...
I'm Reverend Gracelyn JL.
So actually, we were just playing. This was a joke 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe we're going to just shoot the show live, or maybe we're not going to. This is our first show since the new administration took over. So I'm just going to let y'all know. I think the shock of whoever won the last election made half of my clients, all the people that had already signed up to come live on the show, they're like, maybe not. We have one person watching. Welcome. Please let us know who you are so we can give you a shout out. And then people were like, I don't know. Should we go? Should we not go? People are not trying to hide. They don't know what's happening. Is it safe? But I have today two people that are like, you know what? Fuck all of that. We're going to go live anyway because we can. So, for those of you who do not know, my name is Dr. Lulu. Yes, I'm the chief host of Moms for Trans Kids podcast. And we come, and y'all know what we say, right? On this show, we truly don't give a fuck because we're mama beasts. And yes, we're here to protect our kids. These two today, who are not necessarily my children by birth, but they are my children by extension, have come to share their stories with us. So the first thing I'm going to say is always the first question is, why did you say yes to coming on the podcast?
Absolutely. So I met you a year ago at Pride in the Pew, and I will never forget the experience. And I think you and I naturally connected. And you mentioned this podcast, but I have been so busy to where I just couldn't get around to it. So when you brought it up this weekend as a joke, I was like, oh no, we have to do it. There's no time like the present.
Yes. And why are you here? Why are the two of y'all here this weekend?
This weekend I had the blessed opportunity to speak for you at your bi-monthly poetry for queer Black poets.
Yes.
And it was a blessed experience. If you're in the Atlanta metro area, please come out and support. It's for a great cause and it's fun.
It is a good time.
It's called Dr. Lulu's Pride Open Mic Night. So if you're a poet, a singer, a creator, if you're a child and you can do karaoke, as it turned out,
right?
Yes. Whoever you are, if you're in the Atlanta metro area and you want
to travel like I did.
Exactly. Oh yeah, we have people from Baltimore, people from Houston, people from Florida, people from Atlanta, people from Charlotte, South Carolina, but also they all gathered in Atlanta today because this weekend because
Black Pride.
Yes. So this weekend is Atlanta Black Pride. So remember now to mark your calendars. Every last weekend of August Labor Day weekend is Atlanta Black Pride weekend. But that aside, okay, now that we got that all out of the way, we're going to get comfortable. So why did you, I know you said yes to coming on the podcast without thinking about it, but what is it that you want to tell the people? The show is called Moms for Trans Kids podcast, where mama beasts who are for and of the support of our kids who are trans, whether we birth them or not. But why did you say yes as far as like content-wise? What were you going to share today? What were you thinking about? Why did you say yes as far as that piece, not just the meeting me, but the message?
Absolutely. Let me first say thank you for having me. That's major. I am blessed and I'm honored to be here. But I said yes because, especially in this climate, under this current administration, I'm not going to be silent. Okay, it's just not going to happen. Someone has to do the work. Someone has to be willing to do the work, and there's so much work to do right now. So why not connect with other bodies that are not afraid to be liberated in such a confined time?
Absolutely.
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I mean, you want me to get your own fan?
No,
You're
I'm
my
fine.
fan.
Yeah, I know, right? So really just echoing what she said as far as like fighting the fight. What fight do you fight, Gracelyn? Reverend Gracelyn.
Hi, honey. I am so grateful to be here, and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for this entire weekend. Both of you. This has been a beautiful weekend. I feel inspired, uplifted, and released of all tension. Because it's been a year, right, y'all? It's been a year. I was in her house in Southern Charlotte when
Valentine.
he was in Valentine when he was inaugurated.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize because I had some other things happening.
By the way, we worked that election.
Yes, and we were
worked that
on
election.
We were on the streets.
Yes.
And I
Which is
remember,
good to know because I also canvassed for Kamala Harris right here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
and we were on the streets in
Charlotte, North Carolina,
in the greater Charlotte area for it, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But the day after the election, I was with my therapist because therapy matters.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
She was
Yes.
going through
Hashtag therapy matters.
And she
Yes.
was going through all of the different executive orders, and I shrieked at the top of my lungs because I was like, "Oh my God, what is going on to my community?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was like. It's time to do some stuff. So that's why I'm here. I am a voice for those who've been told they have no voice.
Yes, absolutely. And you're talking about executive orders. I mean, I love to talk about the things that most people don't want to talk about. Please, if you're watching us live, let us know who you are so we can give you a shout out. Just type because there are people coming and going. So just type in the comment section, "Hey, hi," and I'll see you and I'll holler at you. If you're on Instagram, I may not be able to see you though. But if you're anywhere else, just let us know who you are and we'll give you a shout out. So as far as executive orders go, how has it been since, for me, I think that they thought that we're gonna give every harsh order in the world, thinking that we're all gonna like hide and just, I don't know, die away sadly. Well, what has happened since, like, almost every morning there was a new one, and then suddenly I think he got tired of executive orders. What how has that been for you?
Absolutely. So Graceland can contest to this. I kind of got called out of retirement for advocacy. My phone began to ring because people trust me to educate our people.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a whole another podcast talking about how they're executive orders and they're not laws. They're not laws. They're executive orders.
Note that.
So these are things that he is trying to put into law, but it still has to go before our government.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really important to me to educate people. Hey, don't freeze. Don't stop. This is just an executive
Please
order.
don't stop the music.
Don't stop it.
Yes.
So I did a lot of that. But I also felt like, I mean, come on, you have a kite over your ass. Like you did 100 executive orders in like 72 hours.
In like 2 minutes, yeah.
And can I just say, it might not be law, but that does not mean that it was not impactful.
Oh, absolutely, it was impactful.
Because one of the executive orders was about passports, and I got my documents confiscated. They would not give me my birth certificate. They wouldn't give me anything because they said, because I had all of the stuff filed before he took office, but there was a delay or something. And the State Department emailed me and sent me a letter from the State Department. Do you know how scary it is to get a letter from the U.S. State Department saying, "Dear Graceland JL, we are unable to identify the sex you were at your biological sex at birth. So we will not be giving you your passport."
I remember that.
And then it took months. And then eventually they gave me my birth certificate back. Mm. But then they gave me a passport and stuff with the wrong information.
Yeah.
And it's different for those who aren't in the ATL Metro. We don't have a place to come
to go. Yeah.
Like in person. So I had to mail my stuff off, and it was very painful. That was very painful. And that was just one of the dozens of executive orders.
Right. And I remember that. We actually did that together.
Yes.
Because
you were scared to see me.
So in my experience, I had different things happening in my life where I couldn't get that name change done prior to this year. And I was so blessed. I am one of those people who literally slid through the cracks.
Yes, literally.
Literally. They asked me certain questions. I said certain things. And I won't say his name, but there's a person who works for the passport office. He said, "I'm going to do you a solid." He says, "I'm supposed to give you a passport that's only good for a year. I'm going to give you one for a year." I got my passport. It's good for 10 years.
Wow.
It wasn't a limited passport. But I get it because I have a passport that has my former name because I'm just not going to take the chances to send my new name in because I may not get it back.
Yeah.
So those executive orders, that was just a passport.
Yeah.
I mean, he went down to like skinny jeans.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's illegal for men to wear skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Not illegal. He signed an executive order for men wearing skinny jeans.
I think
I think it was more.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. I also want to just kind of hold space for you for what you just described, because I'm sure for you to be saying that on this podcast, there's much more to it. So I think in a sense I got lucky because I am an immigrant, so I've always had a passport, right? But also my children have always had passports from day one. So once I recognized that there's a possibility that this guy was going to win the first time, I made sure everybody's passports I gave them back because they were all like young adults, except the baby at that time. I said, everybody, here's your passport back. Get your passports updated yesterday.
Yes.
And then once Biden came in, the baby turned 18. Between that time, I said, here's your passport, get it updated. And I don't want to hear anything about it. I don't want to hear anything. So that not when we don't know who's coming in, what they're going to say, that's come. And that's what happened. So I think I just got lucky that I was like, okay, guys, I don't want to hear any stories you have to tell. As a matter of fact, the baby got in trouble with his birth certificate because I think they sent it to the wrong place, but then he got it back and all that. So, but yeah, it's real. It's real. Let's talk about your individual stories as much as you can. One of the things we talk about on this show is I don't tell you what to say. What you say is what I kind of just lead with it, and then I just kind of follow. So we like to ask people what is their coming out story or what's their inviting in story as much as they want to share. Because I know that visibility is everything and representation. There is somebody right now watching this, which is why I was looking for my phone, because usually when people make comments on Instagram, I can't see them here, but I can see them on my phone. Yeah, so I was looking for my phone and I realized, wait, I didn't go live on Instagram. So I went back live on Instagram. But I want to know what people are saying because somebody's going to say, oh my God, they did it. I can do it too. So I'm going to start with you, Grace. What's your story as much as you feel comfortable sharing?
Of course. So my name is Gracelyn Avian JL. It means soft-spoken beauty. Avian means plain or high flyer, and JL means mountain goat, or the one who ascends to high places. All of those names were intentional.
Yes, and very perfect,
they
actually.
all say different reasons of my journey. I took my last name from my birth given in middle names, the initials J and L, and my great-grandmother called me mountain goat.
Oh, wow.
I said all that to say I've been through some stuff, as everybody in the world. If you live long enough, you're going to go through some stuff.
That's true.
And one of the things I went through...
My mother says that, she says, only a dead man has no problems. So be thankful they have problems. Just ask for discernment for how to handle the problems they have.
I love it.
As far as having problems, you're going to have some.
My grandma said, keep living.
Keep living. Yes. If you ain't going through, you just came through or you're about to go through. So just keep going.
Those three things.
Keep going.
Yeah.
So I was born in the early 90s. I was born into a very religious, strict, Protestant, Christian, charismatic, fire-baptized holiness type of environment. I had Christian conversion at age 4, and about age 4 or 5, I understood myself to be a girl. And then I looked down, I was in the mirror, and I looked down and I said, oh, what I saw in the mirror, I knew it wasn't a body dysphoria about it, but it was an understanding of I will not be treated as every other girl. I will not have the privileges of every other girl because of what I have. And I also learned within a few years, it was dangerous for me because I went through physical, mental abuse. And I ended up losing my voice to stuttering for a solid year. So I was telling them this weekend, but for a solid year and a half, I talked like that. I would beat my head against walls because I couldn't be me. And that's just the truth. So for 25 years, I went underground, and I pretended to be a gay man. I pretended to be agender or non-binary. For me, I pretended for 10 years because I couldn't take manhood. So I pretended all these different things. And then the pandemic, that blessed, horrible thing that made the world shut down. And when the world stopped, and I had lost 6 people in 6 months, and I was the first one that almost died. And there was nowhere to run because no one could have anything. I had to sit in silence with myself, and that's when I was like, I can't hide this anymore. So over the course of 10 months, I transitioned socially, and on February 3rd, 2021, my 30th birthday, I invited the world in.
Yeah, that is so good. Thank you. Thank you also for using the invited in phrase. That is so powerful because we're talking about this whole stuttering and where it falls in the spectrum of childhood. My younger sister actually stuttered a lot, but I've never really, we're not particularly close, but I've never really thought about what could have caused that. But once my youngest child came into the picture, I started stuttering, and I said, maybe the same thing that happened to my youngest happened to my youngest sister, because she's a third in line. So that was me, and then my brother, and then her. But I don't remember that. I don't remember us like hushing her, like not letting her speak. But I wonder what it was, because childhood trauma is so rampant. So rampant. So I'm glad you shared that story again, and thank you so much for deciding to stay and deciding to give birth to who was being inside and trapped the whole time. And let me ask, before you tell us your story, we were talking about, we kind of sort of talked about this a little bit, about this whole concept of during the lockdown, a lot of people invited the world into their queer spaces, is what I call it. It's my full sentence. So, and then you had a thought about the whole lockdown and people just deciding this is it for me. And I said, I know one person in particular who said, this lockdown, we don't know if we're going to survive it, so I might as well just live my life. What are your thoughts about that? And did you have anybody else? I know this is a very good friend, Kristen, but anyone else in your life who maybe also something that drastic during the lockdown?
One, she is not my good friend. She is my sister.
Okay,
she is God said. I don't want ever get that twisted. Okay,
thank you.
Try anything but her. But so for me, my lockdown experience was like no other. I actually went back into funeral service because there was a need.
Oh, yeah.
There was a
true.
need.
You're right.
I had been out of funeral service. I started transitioning in 2018. So I had been out of funeral service in 2018. By 2020, I was working 7 days a week because there was a need. I won't disclose the funeral home that I worked for, but whatever. So yesterday I had mentioned, so I've come into interaction with a lot of young trans folk. And when I say young, I mean young. Because when I was 13, when I was 12, it was unheard of. You could not come home and tell your parents that in the Black community.
Well, I was going to say in the Black community, but also just overall, we heard about people who are they use the word transvestites. But they were mostly adults.
Right.
So I love that you mentioned. Yeah, I love that you mentioned 11 or 12. Yeah. Yes. They were all adults.
At 12.
They were all adults, and that's a very good.
And in West Virginia, we did not have that word. There was no word for it. It was, you want to be a girl.
Yeah.
Or
why would you want to be that? Or
some
you
other
choose that
words.
Yeah.
And see, I love that we can come from different places.
Yeah.
You were in West Virginia. I was in urban New York.
Yeah.
And
so they're very different 90-day experiences, but they're yet still same.
Yes.
Because in New York, we weren't doing it at 13. So I've come in interaction with a lot of babies, which I think is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Because if I could have transitioned, maybe I wouldn't have at 13. But if I could have transitioned earlier, I would have. Because I am like Madonna. And it's easier to freeze time than it is to reverse it.
Yes.
Okay? That's why Madonna looks so good.
But we love you, Madonna.
We love you, okay?
And someone who's slick and slacious says, yes, you knew. But you definitely couldn't tell them. Wow. Slick and slacious, thank you so much for sharing. This is exactly why we like to interact with our audience. We love you to tell us what you're thinking, because everybody's mind, but we want to validate, we want to hold all of the different stories, every single one is valid. So thank you so much for sharing that. So Slick and Slicious is saying that they, not necessarily them, but yes, the person knew who they were, but they couldn't tell the world about it, which is so
not when we were
true.
younger.
Yes.
You could barely come out as saying gender loving.
On Instagram. Yeah.
You could barely come out as saying gender loving when I was a child.
I got caught I won't say who, but in a family member's clothing. And the piece of clothing that I had, a shoe, I was beat with it.
Wow.
And then I would stare at a hair accessory, and someone came and plopped a wig on my head and said, "Dead name would be an ugly girl."
Wow.
And that's when the stuttering got, and it was generational abuse, because it was
multi-level,
white
different family members, different,
but talking to you this weekend has made me realize I was going through stuff, but they were too. Because at home it was, don't you do this, don't you do this. But what I did not know was, when in settings that I wasn't privy to, it was, dead name is, what are you doing? Dead name doesn't need to be raised by you, or dead name needs male attention, or dead name needs his behind whooping, or there's demons or something.
So they were going through too. They're being ridiculed.
Still,
to this day.
Actually, that's a very important point. Still to this day is so true. One of the things I talk about is, and I tell, because I mostly work with parents, right? So I tell the parents, I say, when your child is transitioning, you are also transitioning. The whole family is transitioning. I think it's important that we all remember that. Your child is not going through this alone. But I think the problem is, a lot of times we send the child alone, thinking that, well, if we kick you out, or if we beat you enough, or if we pray for you enough, or if we do something enough to you, forgetting that the reason that we have the resistance, the reason the family is fighting so hard, is because they also know deep in their heart that it's true. Nobody will fight for something that they don't believe. See,
so true.
This entire administration, they're fighting so hard to erase Black people. Why? Because they believe that they know the power that we had if we could even just unite a little bit. Well, Black people we truly don't want revenge. We just want equity. We just want what's ours.
Yes.
And I think even that is scary to them. So that tells you who they are, where their mind is. So I wanted to just hold space for family members who are fighting but don't know what they're fighting. You're actually fighting the truth. You're only fighting because you know it's true. And a lot of family members also somehow think that somehow they did it. And maybe somehow I didn't beat the child enough. Or maybe, because I got divorced, or because, I don't know, whoever, right? So I want to release you today from that thought process. I know you think it is, but just because you think something doesn't mean it's true. So I know you think you did something, or somehow you could have, would have, should have. Let me tell you, I have met someone who came out at 75. 75. And then my friend Holly came out after 39 years of marriage at 59. So people come out at different ages, whenever, however. So you cannot hold them back. Eventually, they're going to be who they are. You might as well let them be who they are earlier. So that's what we're trying to say here. Because I've never met someone who did not truly, unless they're not really trans, if they transition, or even if it's just by themselves, they did not regret it. Now what they might end up doing is, you might force them to go slightly backwards because of your treatment of them at this current moment. As opposed to, I knew that, that's why. No, that's not true. They're not confused, my friends. They're not. And so, Reverend Bishop Paris.
I'm not that deep. Paris is fine.
Paris is fine. So Paris, I know. So Paris, as far as that goes, which part of because it looks like you've had multiple layers to your transitioning.
Absolutely.
Because you said the word, I went back to funeral. So we're like, wait, when did she go first? So looks like there's been lots of layers. So which of them do you want to share with us today in the time that we have?
Sure. So you mentioned equity, And equity is why I do the work that I do. Our ancestors, and this is no disrespect, the civil rights movement was phenomenal, but it was for equality. But I've evolved. I don't want equality. I want equity. Because equality says we all get the same thing. I am fighting the fight that I'm fighting for Black trans women specifically because we all don't need the same thing. Some need less, some need more. So
I need different.
And some need something totally different. And I believe that you can't tell me what I need better than me.
Exactly.
You can't tell my story without me.
Come on now.
So I do the work that I do because I am a Black woman of trans experience who happens to be the offspring of someone who's first generation American, who grew up in poverty, right? So I just want to talk about that because I think how I got here is important, but I think it's a moot point because it's not who I was, it's just where I was.
Come on now.
That's
right.
But where,
it's just
a good one.
Where I was, not who I was.
Before, yeah.
So here today, I am someone who says I am grateful for the people who have paved the way, and that's beautiful. But there's someone who has to now have to come after me. So what am I gonna do so that they have an opportunity?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there were things made easier for me, but there were also things I didn't have. So if I can make something available to the next young girl who may be 12 years old and questioning her identity and her gender identity, and I want to have a moment there.
Yeah,
we have to challenge our mind. There's a difference between sexuality and gender identity.
All day. Oh my God, that's a whole class.
Because one of them is who I go to bed as, and the other one is who I go to bed with.
Wake up, yeah.
Or wake up with.
Yeah.
I want there to be resources and opportunities for those young girls. Because there are certain things I just didn't have it.
Yeah.
But because I didn't have it didn't mean I didn't deserve it.
Yes.
Someone just wasn't woke enough or liberated enough to say, I will stand, I will die to make room.
Yes.
That's what I loved about Martin. Martin understood that he may not have got there with us,
I may not get
but he understood that we needed to go there.
Yeah.
And I may not get there, but I understand that the next girl behind me needs to get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the building blocks, and I think that's the power of recognizing what you've been given. Because I think a lot of times we don't recognize what you just said now is so powerful. You know that while you didn't get everything you needed, we were given something.
And I'm grateful.
So what can you build with the things that you were given? That's what we're talking about.
And that's, I like you deal with parents a lot. And I had to get to this place with my adoptive mother and with my biological mother. For many years, I had a lot of hatred with my biological mother because she made poor choices. But I had to get to a place where I understood she did the best she could with what she did.
Oh my God. I felt that way about my mother for a long time. When I said, you know what? My mother only gave what she
had and what she knew.
Yes.
To give. Yeah.
She loved me the best
way she knew how.
Yeah.
So I challenge this
and
younger
I say
generation.
that to parents all the time. Oh my God.
Love your mother.
Yes.
Love your baby.
Yeah.
Honey.
Because love is what love does.
And I also say that to queer people, because I happen to be that person who was a queer child. I help them just kind of edit that idea that my parent hates me, my parent didn't let me do. The truth is, I want you to recognize the fact that what if your parent didn't know any different? Right. And it occurred to me the day my dad said, yeah, it's a phase. But my dad, in his mind, was convinced fully that it's a phase, except that my dad is not queer.
Right.
So how does he know it's not a phase?
Come on.
So I need to recognize that my dad is not queer. Now that I know that I'm queer, well, I have no excuse to let someone else not be who they are, because now I know what it's like to not be who I am.
How dare you?
So yeah, exactly. That is so powerful.
And can I just say, I love my family, and it took me a long time to forget, over 25 years to forgive, because I had to understand that my family who beat me and who did all these things, they were trying to save my soul.
In their mind, they thought
they were trying
right.
to love me the best
in their way. In their way.
They loved me the best way they could.
But I'll say this.
But trauma is trauma.
Trauma is trauma.
Yeah.
And I am here. Find me. If you can connect with Dr. Lulu,
No, we're going to say that at the end. We're going to tell them where to find you.
No. I'm not marketing. I'm just saying, find me, because I'm the person that believes, when you kick out your kid, well, they can come live with me.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
I love that.
I believe in that. Or like I have a friend. I won't disclose. I have a friend. I started Transgiving back in 2018.
I love that. that term?
For one purpose only. They couldn't go home as their authentic self.
Oh wow, that's so.
I believe that
powerful.
I don't believe that home. So I use this term. I don't use the term homeless. I use the term houseless.
Yeah,
because I believe that
unhoused,
home
yeah.
is where the house. Home is where the heart is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like blood doesn't make you family; it makes you related.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all about the babies.
That's a good one.
Because I don't want you to run to the streets like I did.
Or hide
Wow,
yourself like I did.
I want to just truly say this is so powerful because it's almost like the same two sides of a coin. You ran to the streets, you hid.
Mhm.
And that's I don't even know where I was. I was just like, yeah, well, who am I? Like, who am I? Because I know I like girls. I know I like boys a lot, but I also like girls. So what's going on here? And so this is what I mean, that queerness, which I know you don't like that word, but I do. Queerness, because here's why I like the word queerness. I love that no one gets to dictate how I show up. And if I prefer to show up as queer and take a word back that someone decided to make negative on their own, who is probably someone either in the closet or on the other side trying to get us converted,
Trying to find out what's going on.
Exactly.
Tupac, the reason that
I
I
love
use queer,
I love Pac.
Tupac, he reclaimed a word, the N-word.
Yeah.
And in
That is
his
true.
vernacular, it was never ignorant. It was never ignorant. Thank you, Pop, for showing up. It was never ignorant getting goals accomplished. I don't use that word, but when I looked up the word queer, and I was like, why do you keep saying these things to me? It literally means unique, different,
yes.
going against the grain.
That's it.
And if that's nothing, that's great.
That's me, exactly.
I love that we have the ability to reclaim.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I have to be honest and I have to be transparent. As far as I am liberal and progressive, some things are just very Southern Belle. I tell people all the time, I'm a city girl in a Southern way. Because I was born in the South, but the city raised me, and I'm now back down South.
Amen.
So I think part of it's just I'm just old fashioned.
Yeah,
Actually,
and that's just a thought
that's
also,
okay.
and that's okay. Yes, and that's okay. And I think we can all.
But the difference
all
is,
coexist.
I believe people have the right to feel how they want.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
And what you claim is what you claim, and I'm gonna support it.
Yes, and we can all coexist, which is why the current administration has a lot of thinking to do. Truly, because let's face it. If you tell someone that they cannot exist, it's like a dog. Truly, the picture of a dog in a manger. A dog in a manger, people don't recognize it. It's a dog. Dogs don't belong in mangers. Mangers are thorny. They are made of straw. The dog lying in the manger is getting poked by the little sticks, right? But it's there, like, oh, I'm going to sit here because I don't want you in the manger. But you're not comfortable either.
Oh, he's a nightmare.
You're not comfortable either. So for you to be doing that, you're telling us truly how you think about yourself. And so I want to hold space for queer folks. I want every time you think it's bad, they really got us this time around. Think about those that came before you with much, much, much less, and they still did what they had to do. So, but as we come, let me see, 4:30. Well, we did the 30 minutes, believe it or not.
We did good.
But as we come into the second half, usually at the bottom of the show, I give like a little marketing. I said this show is brought to you by my practice, which is Dr. Lulu's Pride Corner, which is a brand new telehealth and better coaching practice. You should reach us if you want to on social media. Anywhere that I am is where my practice is, because I have my practice. Yes. We're holding space for queer kids age 6 and up as a medical practice for telehealth in Georgia, Texas, Minnesota, and California. But for the rest of the world, we're going to coach your mindset, because coaching is something that everybody needs to get to where they want to go.
Absolutely.
So we're going to help you if you're queer. We're going to help your parents. We're going to help your coworkers, anyone who's around you who's an ally, and even those who are questioning, because it's like, that's also okay. So that's who brought this show to y'all. Please find us on social media, follow us, like us, share this podcast, tell anyone if anything struck you as important on this podcast, share with someone, because you never know who needs to hear one of these Southern Belle versus, I don't know, another Southern belle.
Fire.
Fire.
I'm a city girl in a Southern way.
A city girl in Southern way. And just being able to just come up and say, this is who I am. It doesn't mean that we don't have bad days or sad days, just that our happy days we choose to bring our happy days forth more. So as we go about and try to end this beautiful weekend and this beautiful podcast, I'm going to ask the two guests. Usually Ellen has a trivia question, but Ellen is not here, my co-hostess. But I don't have a trivia question. I'm just going to ask you, what one thing would you want to say to your younger self now that you're your future self today? And then if you could listen and hear your future self, what would they be saying to you today? So two things. What are you going to say to your younger self because you're now the future self that they were thinking about? And what would you say, what do you think your future self is saying to you today? What one thing is your future self who has seen the future saying to you today? Ooh, so pick one. You can do both. Yeah.
Go first, because I'm not sure.
You can also pick one of the questions to answer to, and then come back to it if you choose.
The same answer for both.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You just tell us.
3 words. It gets better.
Mm.
And I believe my future self, because I've been through too much. I've seen too many things that it felt like was the end of the world. Hurricane Katrina 20 years ago felt like the end of the world. 9/11 felt like the end of the world.
Yeah.
2020 felt like the end of the world. It always got better.
That's a
And because I have lived through every day of my life, I know I've lived through 100% of my worst days. And baby, it's going to get better.
That's very interesting. I like that. I know people say that a lot, that you survived 100% of all the hard things that they threw at you before today. So why would you survive the ones that are coming? And I also do believe that the mindset for the future things, we have to just grow into it. Because, I mean, we have to just grow into that future self. But yeah, that's powerful. So it gets better is what Kristen is saying to you. And if you're listening to us and you ever thought that maybe this is the worst thing that ever happened, apparently it does get better. You have to look into the mirror and just convince yourself that it does get better, because it does. It does. What about you, my love?
For me, it's kind of a twofold question.
It is twofold question.
Okay. So, in order for it to get better, you got to keep living. And as someone who, my younger self, I went through so much trauma and poverty as a young person. Keep living. I'm someone who's also in recovery, where we say that, one day at a time. Sometimes you got to break that thing down to one moment at a time, one breath at a time. So to my younger self, I would say keep living, keep surviving. To the person that I am today, or my future self. My future self.
Yeah, that's true.
Based on where I am today, to get to my future self, I find myself, I'm encouraging myself by saying there is no comfort in the learning zone, and there's no learning in the comfort zone. And in order to do those things, I must still keep living.
Yes, I love that. There's no comfort in the learning zone. Let's see. Slick says keep living, and you us community. I love it. Yeah. I love it. So Slick, I don't want to say Slick Rick. Slick and Spacious, thank you so much for staying through most of it actually. And you can find Gracelyn where?
On Facebook, I am Gracelyn JL. And on Instagram, I am Poet JL. My last name is JAEEL. And also I have a link tree that's coming up, and it will be Linktree. That's linktr.ee/poet JAEEL.
Okay. Lots of letters.
It is.
Lots of letters. Now, usually when we do this virtual, my hands are not here. My hands are typing the things that people are saying, but I can't type it today. So you just have to stretch your ears, rewind, and then listen to this again, because all those letters that I don't know all the letters. JEEL, something, who knows?
You got it. You got it right. JAEEL.
That part. So just remember that Gracelyn is start with my name, and you probably find it associated because I'll tag them on the podcast on the platforms. What about you? Where can people find you?
Facebook. I am Paris LaBelle.
That's it.
Paris LaBelle. And on TikTok, which I have a lot of traction on because I went viral. It's Lady Paris. Or you can type in Trans Bishop. I promise you I'm gonna pop up. I promise you I'm gonna pop up.
That's good. Actually, I met a trans bishop, not bishop, a trans priest once.
Wow.
I don't know if he has finished his whole process of becoming a Catholic priest, but he actually I met him at the Catholic Imago Dei is Image of God conference where I spoke about, like I said, just deconstructing God and religion and the queer identity, because I wanted people to recognize that God is as queer people are God, because we're all God and God is all of us. And there's no children of a lesser God. There's no lesser God for those people over there. There is the same God for all of us. So I just wanted to celebrate that. I was very happy to see that there's a Catholic queer sect. They're all Catholic and they're all queer and they're all just loving themselves like viciously. I was like, wait, what? It's called Imago Dei. Check them out. But yeah, my name is Dr. Lulu. Y'all know I try to come here on Sundays every Sunday. This is the first time this year since January. Let me rephrase that. Since I think we did our first 4 in January, we didn't do any more because people just didn't want to show, and it's fine. We're back. I don't know what time we're going to be going live anymore because I don't know. We're just look out for us. Subscribe to the podcast. It's called Mom's Number 4 Trans Kids Podcast. Tell someone about us. You'll find us somewhere. If you type it in, you'll find us. You find this new episode, which will be uploaded by Tuesday by my gentleman in the Philippines. So that's kind of all I had. So what going away message do you have? I'll start with you for the people listening, for the trans child who's like, Mom, did you just hear that? What going away message do you want to give that person?
I challenge you to be authentic. And what authentic looks like for you, only you can define. But with being authentic, I challenge you to be consistent. If you consistently know that this is who you are and where you're going, you stick with it.
That's pretty good. So be good, be consistent in your authenticity. That's actually pretty good. That's 2 cool words. Yeah. What about you?
I'll leave you with my favorite quote. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some, it's in everything.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. Slick and Slacious, thank you for joining us. This was so cool. I'll see y'all sometime soon. I want to say next Sunday, but I don't want you to hold me to it, just in case. But I think it's probably going to be next Sunday because why not? All right, folks. Peace, love, and soul as always. Bye.
Bye.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that was so good. And it is in audio, so